1 year keeps appearing in whispers and visions. 2027. It surfaces in government leaks, remote viewing data, psychic predictions, and even ancient prophecies. Something is associated with that year. But what? Most people assume 2027 marks an arrival, a first contact, an external event. But what if it isn't an arrival at all? What if 2027 is a moment of recognition when humanity realizes the visitors were never outsiders, but us? What if disclosure isn't about aliens coming here, but about future humans reaching back through time? Maybe 2027 isn't when they arrive. Maybe it's when we remember. "2027, the year of convergence." Across intelligence communities, esoteric circles, and consciousness research, 2027 appears as a convergence point. Remote viewers have repeatedly hinted at something weird around 2026 to 2027, something they struggle to describe. Former intelligence insiders have spoken about a looming revelation, a breaking point where denial becomes impossible. Not necessarily catastrophic, but unavoidable. UFO experiencer Chris Bledsoe has described a major event around Easter or fall, something that reframes humanity's place in the cosmos. Others describe it not as destruction, but as a balancing moment, a pivot in consciousness. Even ancient-style prophecies echo this theme. A prediction attributed to Baba Vanga says that in 2027, a new light will come from the east, not from the sun, but from thought. That wording matters. It suggests illumination, not invasion, awareness, not attack. Across cultures, the end of one age often comes not with conquest, but with remembering, the return of ancestors, the return of knowledge. So what if disclosure isn't about new beings entering our world, but about old truths resurfacing? What if the visitors are us? There's a hypothesis quietly circulating in UFO research that reframes everything. What if non-human intelligence isn't extraterrestrial, but extratemporal? Anthropologist Dr. Michael P. Masters has pointed out something unsettling. Reported aliens are overwhelmingly humanoid, upright, bipedal, symmetrical, 5 fingers, human-like eyes, not radically alien, just slightly off. Masters proposes that these beings could be future humans, evolved descendants returning to study their own past. In this framework, UFOs aren't spacecraft, they're timecraft. Disclosure wouldn't be about meeting strangers, but about confronting our own future lineage. That would also explain something crucial: why they don't conquer us, why they don't openly help us, why they observe but intervene only subtly. Because any dramatic interference could break the timeline that creates them. Their role wouldn't be domination, it would be preservation, where subtlety matters, the paradox problem. If future humans are involved, paradox becomes the main constraint, at least as far as our theories go. One solution is the Novikov self-consistency principle. Time travelers cannot change the past, only fulfill it. Every action they take already happened. Another possibility is the multiverse. Each intervention branches a new timeline. Guidance becomes a way to ensure this timeline survives. Modern physics is even exploring retrocausality, the idea that an effect can precede causes. Some experiments suggest present choices may influence past outcomes at the quantum level. Time might not be a straight arrow, but a looped fabric. If that's true, then future humans wouldn't need to physically appear to influence us. They could send information backward. And that brings us to consciousness. Memory from the future. People across cultures report precognition, déjà vu, and intuitive knowing that later proves accurate. Neuroscientist Julia Mossbridge calls this memory of the future. Not prediction, remembrance. Her research suggests the brain may access information across time. Consciousness might not be confined to the present moment. If that's true, then the future could already be entangled with now. Small leaks today, a flood later. which might explain why so many intuitives, experiencers, and researchers are independently drawn to 2027, as if the loop tightens there. Perhaps 2027 is when the signal becomes strong enough that it's no longer ignorable. Not a broadcast from the sky, but a resonance with humanity itself, guiding the timeline. Former CIA officer John Ramirez suggested that disclosure isn't accidental. It's managed preparation, a gradual acclimation. Whistleblowers, UAP task forces, mainstream media coverage, a drip feed. Ramirez claimed insiders believe they're showing up in 2027 and humanity must be prepared. But if they are future humans, that preparation makes even more sense. You don't shock your ancestors, you guide them. A leaked transcript involving Dr. Kid Green and a highly skilled intuitive describes disclosure not as an announcement, but as activation. Ideas seeded into individuals. A critical mass compelled to speak, act, protect. Not because they were told, but because they felt it. Environmental urgency, anti-nuclear sentiment, planetary stewardship, exactly the concerns future humans would have about their own past. The transcript refers to guiding intelligences as the Watchers or Elders. Mythic language, but fitting. Are they extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, or simply humanity, far enough ahead to have become its own guardian? Cultural conditioning. Look around. Multiverse stories dominate entertainment. Time loops are normalized. UFOs are openly discussed by governments. Consciousness research is accelerating. Psychedelics are being re-examined. Human identity itself is being questioned. This doesn't look random. It looks like conditioning, not fear-based, gradual, familiarizing. So when the realization lands, it doesn't shatter us. A reunion, not an invasion. As 2027 approaches, the tension feels internal, not external. This doesn't feel like waiting for ships to arrive. It feels like waiting to understand something we almost remember. Maybe there will be craft in the sky, maybe there won't. But the real disclosure may happen inside human consciousness. A moment where ancient myths, modern sightings, and future memories align. And if the visitors are time travelers, especially future humans, then disclosure isn't first contact. It's a reunion, a lifting of amnesia. Humanity realizing it was never abandoned, only guided. Will any of this happen exactly as described? We don't know, but the patterns are real. The signals persist, and the question refuses to go away. What if disclosure isn't about them coming here, but about us becoming ready to see ourselves across time? In that light, one idea keeps echoing louder than the rest. Maybe 2027 isn't when they arrive. Maybe it's when we remember. Thank you for watching The Drip System. Bye.